Hello. Today I'm going to show you how I made this tag. It's very Tim Holtz in that it has several different layers and several of his techniques on it. Now we're going to get started. For this tag we require a lot of things. We need a tag, preferably white. You need distress inks. I'm using the seasonal distress inks from Ranger. A heat gun, perfect pearls. I'm using the mint and the pearl, an applicator, some stamps, some Versamark, a Stampin' Wheel from Stampin' Up, some ribbon, pearls, dimensionals, and a piece of white cardstock. Now the first thing I did was I took the new Iced Spruce distress ink and I applied some to my craft sheet. Then I spritzed it with water and I dragged my tag through it. This is how I created the very first part of my background. Once I had it all covered, I used my heat gun and I dried it. Now it's all dry. Make sure it's good and dry because you're going to be using perfect pearls on top of it. Now, I took the Festive Berries ink pad and I inked my wheel up. The wheel I used is a snowflake wheel. Get it good and juicy. And when it was pretty juicy, I ran it down my tag. Now you have to work fairly quickly with this step. Take your perfect pearls and start applying them with your brush right over top of the snowflakes. Now I only did the big snowflakes, I didn't do the smaller ones. Remember, work quickly. Now distress ink does dry a little bit slower than most other ink, but it still does dry. I found that I only could do half of the tag with one swish of the wheel, so that's what I'm working on first. Now a little bit of perfect pearls goes a long way. Okay, take your feathery brush and brush off the excess. Okay, what I did now was I just spritzed it, this snowflake area, with a little bit of water. Now watch. It sets the perfect pearls, but it also has the red ink bleed a little bit from underneath. It just gives it kind of a cool effect. When it's bled as much as you want, turn your heat gun on again and heat set this. Okay, now we have this layer all done. The next thing I did was take a snowflake stamp and a large snowflake, and I stamped randomly red snowflakes on my tag. Okay, I also used a smaller snowflake stamp and stamped some small ones. This just adds a little bit more texture and dimension to your tag. Don't forget to stamp off of the edges. Next step was to take a big focal stamp And on this one, I'm going to use a tree. I used a scene on the other one, but I think we'll try a tree this time. Ink it up with Versa. When it's good and inked, stamp it in the center of your tag. Okay, now you're going to use clear embossing powder. And you're going to emboss that image. Oh, I'm sorry, it's white embossing powder. Cover it with the powder. Tap off the excess. And heat emboss. Okay, it's all heat embossed, and you can see that it's pretty hard to see that Christmas tree. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the evergreen bough ink up our applicator, and we're going to ink over top of the Christmas tree. Now this not only adds another dimension, but it also adds another layer of color to our tag. And now as I do this, you can really see that the Christmas tree comes to life. Take a paper towel and just wipe off the excess green from on your white tree. And now you can really see it. Okay, while we have the applicator and the ink going, and before we put anything more on our tag, we're going to take and sponge around the edges. Work off of your paper onto it. And we're using the evergreen bough. In this way, we're creating lots of different colors and dimensions to this tag. Now when you look at it, you can see all kinds of dimension and shimmer. This is a very pretty tag. Use the evergreen bough wherever you'd like it. Okay. The next step. You have a white strip of cardstock. And you're going to take and stamp a greeting right in the center. Now I just used the red, the festive berries. You can use whatever color you want. Stamp your greeting right in the center. Very pretty. And then you're going to take your fingernail and you're going to make a score on either side of your greeting. And then you're going to make a score, oh, not quite a quarter of an inch past that. Now you're going to fold down on the first score and up on the outer one. Don't worry if it's not exact, and do the same on the other side. This creates a kind of a banner. Now you just have to take scissors and cut off your edges. Now I'm working quickly, and you may find that with the distress ink you should let it sit just a little bit longer. If you can see, I've made a couple of little smudge marks. Do the same on the other end. There we have it. Take your tag and some glue dots and glue down your greeting. hint for this, put the glue dot on both sides before you glue it down. It's just a little bit easier. Okay. Find the placing you want. I'm going to put mine straight across and stick it down. Actually, I like the way that this sticks off of the edge. Okay, the next step. You have a die cut or punched out snowflake. I used a die cut, but you can use a punch. And you're going to take your evergreen bow ink and you're going to ink up this snowflake. Be careful, it's a little bit delicate. Now I cut this out on chipboard, but you can use just plain old cardstock if you want. Okay, you have it all covered. Now we're going to take our green Perfect Pearls and we're going to cover the snowflake with the green Perfect Pearls. Work fairly quickly. Now you're going to find it's not going to cover perfectly, but that's all right, because what we're looking for is sort of a different textured iridescent look. Okay, once you have it pretty well covered, you're going to take your water and you're going to mist. Misting will set the Perfect Pearls. Okay, back to your tag. We're almost finished actually. You're going to take a little chunk of dimensionals. And we're going to put it on the back of that snowflake. And you're going to put your snowflake wherever you want. I still like it down in the bottom corner. Okay. And there's only a couple things left to do. Stick a pearl on the center of your snowflake. And because I used the tree, I thought it would be kind of nice to stick a pearl at the top of the tree. Now all that's left to do is attach a ribbon and you're finished. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you give these techniques a try. Thank you. Bye.